We are on Daf Tzadik Zayin Amud Beis. We'll go back. Let's go back 2 lines, 3 lines down in the wide lines. Amarav. We just started this Gemara yesterday. Amarav. Rav says, "Kalu kala kitzin."
3 lines down.
3 lines down in the wide lines.
1, 2,
Wide.
Yeah.
Wide.
Amarav. Yeah.
Kalu
Kala kitzin. Veina davar tali el b'tshuva ma'asim tevim. All the kitzin could be over. In other words, all the times the Mashiach is supposed to come and he still won't come because it's still tali in tshuva and ma'asim tevim. And if Klal Yisrael didn't do tshuva and didn't do ma'asim tevim, then it's still Mashiach is not going to come. Shmuel Amar Dayay la'aval she'amad be'evlai. It's enough for an aval to have his avelus. In other words, a mourner. He sits shiva and then he's done. So to the Rebbeinu Shalom Kaviyachal that after the time.
Moves on?
Yeah, after the time that if Klal Yisrael didn't do tshuva, there will be an end point. And at that end point, Mashiach will come. And the Ramchal talks about this in his Svarim. He talks about that there's the 2 ways for Mashiach to come, which is not necessarily exactly how we're going to see in the Gemara today, but the Ramchal has more, plenty of makaros for this, that the world is leading to its tachlis. And it'll come one of 2 ways. Either Klal Yisrael does everything good, and then the world will come to its tachlis through Mashiach, or Klal Yisrael doesn't, and the Rebbeinu Shalom will be misabev anyway that the world should come to its tachlis. Yeah, and that's what Shmuel is saying over here. Ketanoi with this like machlekes tanam. Rabbi Eliezer says, "In Yisrael oisin tshuva negalin, v'imlav ein negalin." Rabbi Eliezer says that if Klal Yisrael does tshuva, they'll get redeemed, and if not, they won't get redeemed. They have to do tshuva. Amar Rabbi Shua said, "Im ein oisin tshuva ein negalin." If they don't do tshuva, they won't be redeemed. Ella HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mamad Lehen Melech Shegzerosav Kashos Kahaman. No, what's going to happen? They're going to be, Hashem will make for them a king that makes Gzeros as difficult, as bad for Klal Yisrael as Haman. Yisrael is in tshuva machzir l'motav, and Klal Yisrael will do tshuva and comes back to God. So you were saying that Hashem is going to make it that they're going to do tshuva. He'll make it so bad that they'll have to do tshuva, and then they'll be nigel.
It's not an emphasis tshuva because he's doing it because of the Melech Kasher. They're not doing it on their own.
It worked by the Yidden in Esther. Right? Okay. Tani Yidich. We learned in another brayser. Rabbi Eliezer says.
Mashiach brought a rule for him right then, but Mashiach didn't bring it.
Yeah. Okay. We learned another brayser. Tani Yidich. We learned another brayser. Rabbi Eliezer says, "If Yisrael is in tshuva negal, and if Klal Yisrael does tshuva, they'll be redeemed." Shneimar, like the pasuk says, "Shuvu banim shevavim, return my sons, returnees. Erpa mishuvei seichem, I'll be healed from your tshuva." Or you'll be healed from your tshuva. So that will cause the gula to come. Amar Rabbi Shua said, "The lake for an emmer doesn't it say chinam nemkartem v'lei bekesef tigaelu?" What does this mean? Chinam nemkartem, you were sold. I'm continuing the Gemara. In other words, you went into the galus because of doing avodah zarah. V'lei bekesef tigaelu, and lei b'tshuva ma'asim tovim. It won't help for the tshuva and ma'asim tovim. The tshuva ma'asim tovim won't be needed to be redeemed, because even if they don't do tshuva ma'asim tovim, still they'll be redeemed. That's what he wants to teach of kesef. Yeah, blood kesef tigelu.
Give me a curve and a test. If you won't pick it out, you have to just push them out without the right.
Yeah, like you're talking about age. You're promoting based on age.
Yeah, I'm saying,
Kid's 13, he can't be in 4th grade, right? That's what they do in public school, right? I'm like Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shua, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shua, like Farnemer, Shuva Elai, Vashuva Aleichem. So now we're going to go through a whole bunch of psukim where Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Shua are going to go back and forth and say psukim are mashma one way or the other with whether the Klal Yisrael needs to do tshuva, or even if they don't do tshuva, Hashem's going to make Mashiach come. So Rabbi Eliezer said to Rabbi Shua. Rabbi Eliezer was the one who said that they have to do tshuva. Like for Nemer, doesn't the pasuk say Shuva Elai v'Shuva Aleichem? Return to me, and I will return to you. Mashma that until Klal Yisrael does tshuva, Hashem won't return to them. I'm there. Rabbi Shua said to him, "Like for Nemer, doesn't the pasuk say Ki Anochi ba'alti eschem? Didn't I?" Ba'alti is like I owned you, so to speak. You would say that today. So wasn't I your owner? V'lakachti eschem, and I took you echad miYerushalayim mishpacha, one from a city. In other words, a tzaddikim from a city, like a single person from a city, and 2 people from a whole mishpacha. And I'll bring you to to Yerushalayim. Now you see from here that even though you're only a few tzaddikim, but still Hashem's going to do tshuva. Hashem's going to bring them to the Gula. So you see from Rabbi Shua says, you see even without tshuva, still they'll be nigal. Rabbi Eliezer says, no, you need tshuva. Look for an emmer that says, b'shuva v'nachas tivasheyon. With tshuva and nachas, you will be saved. Rabbi Shua said, Rabbi Eliezer said to Rabbi Eliezer, look for an emmer, the pasuk says, Kaimer Hashem, so says Hashem, Goyel Yisrael, Hukdaishai, the Redeemer of Klal Yisrael and its Holy One, Livzai Nefesh Lemsaiv Gai, Le'eved Meishlem, to the people who are embarrassed, their souls are embarrassed, and because they have Averis, and they're dirty with the nation that's dirty, because the Messiah of God is the nation that's dirty because it has Averis, Le'eved Moishlam, the servants of rulers. Still, the pasuk continues on top of that. Malachim yiru v'kamu sarim v'yishtachvu l'man Hashem. V'yishtachvu, the pasuk is l'man Hashem Hashaneman. They'll be redeemed, and they'll end up standing up, being malachim and sarim, kings and princes.
Very strange over here. Very
what?
strange.
Very strange machlekes. Eliezer says, we have a different pasuk. It says, if Klal Yisrael does tshuva, they'll do tshuva to me, and then they'll have the gula. Rabbi Shua said to him, the pasuk says, the pasuk says, I heard the man l'vashabadim. This I think usually the Malach Gabriel. He is above the waters of the river. And he raised his right hand and his left hand to the sky. And he swore by Hashem, because to the time of times, and half, and like the end of the standing of the strength of the arm, Am Kodesh, of the holy nation, Tichlena Kalela, all this will end. What does this mean? Rashi says, when it says L'moed Miyadim, there's going to be a time. When there is a time, there is a case and at that point Mashiach will come. So Rabbi Shua is saying, you see from here, yes, even if they don't do tshuva, there's a time that Mashiach is scheduled to come. The Shasuk Rabbi Eliezer was Shaisik. So it sounds like Rabbi Eliezer was Maida to Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi said, from the following, you don't have a case that's more clear than this. Shneimar, like the pasuk says, "Va'atem hari Yisrael anfeichem titnu freichem tesau la'ami Yisrael." And you, my mountains of Yisrael, of Eretz Yisrael, your branches you should give, and your flowers you should raise for my nation Yisrael. And end of the pasuk is, it says, the end of the pasuk is, because he came close to coming, because Mashiach is coming. So the pasuk is saying that when Klal Yisrael, that's when Mashiach comes. So when you see Eretz Yisrael is giving fruit like this pasuk describes, that's when you know Mashiach is going to come.
What? You see your souls giving fruit.
But obviously it needs to be even more than that.
But
the Gemara is going to say a whole bunch of signs. The Gemara is going to say now a whole bunch of signs. But Tanoim are going to say, and Rambam also.
I'm WTO.
I'm not getting involved in WTO. The point is that what we're saying was that the Gemara is going to say a whole bunch of signs of when we know it's this man of Mashiach. Most of them are, things are so bad, then Mashiach is going to come. But some of them are good also. Let's see. Rabbi Elazar says, Af mizeh, from this also. Shneimar, like the pasuk says, Lifnei hayam mahim, because before those days, schar ha'adam la'niyah, the fruit of the profit of a person won't be. And for the profit of the fruit of his labors. So both people won't be making money, and also schar b'heimein, and when the animals are working, like the plow a field, whatever, it's not going to grow. So there's not going to be schar adam or schar b'heim. In other words, it'll be very impoverished time. And for those who come and go, there's no peace from the oppressor. before we say Lo Yetzu Leva, but the raya is from the first part. That in those days, it'll be that people don't have any parnasa. We said in yesterday's daf that Mashiach's not going to come, Darsha ben David Ba, until it won't happen until Achatichla Prutim Nakis. Nobody's going to have a penny in their pocket. So Rashi says that this is going, Rabbi Lazar is consistent with that it'll be a time of great poverty. Gemara, the end of the pasuk, what does it mean for those who go and come? There's no peace from the oppressor. Rav says, even Talmidei Chachamim, that it's written about them, they're considered shalom. Because shalom Rav, there's great peace to those who love your Torah. So shalom is referring to Talmidei Chachamim. In shalom pnei tzar, they're not going to have shalom because of the tzaras. Rashi brings a shot that doesn't mean from tzaras, it means from the Yetzer Hara. That even Talmidei Chachamim won't be saved from the Yetzer Hara. Yeah. So we're saying even those who go and come, the Talmidei Chachamim that are going and coming in peace, learning Torah, they're not going to have shalom tzar. Shmuel Amar Anshiu Kol Hash'arim Kulan Shkulan. Shmuel says that it means the shalom ulava liyetzu ulava in shalom in atzar. It means that the price of wheat and wine will be the same, because it'll be cheap and everyone will have a seva. So we had this Gemara before. We said that there'll be a year of seva, that there's a lot of the Shemitah that the Ben David is going to come in. Who's that again?
Wine is so expensive, people want it. There's so much there, but people want it.
We said one shot also, but this is about a different Gemara a little earlier in the Amud, where it said that it's going to be the 7 years, the Shemitah period, that Mashiach is going to come. We said there's going to be a little hunger, then a little more hunger, then a lot of hunger, then a little seva, and then a lot of seva. So we're talking now about the lot of seva.
But Mike's the right. It's a machalagas called sham. It means it became very expensive or very, very cheap.
So Rashi says it's both pshatim. Rashi says one pshat that it's a lot of food, so it's cheap. And another pshat is that they're all the same, that it's just as expensive to buy wheat as it is to buy wine, because it's all expensive. Okay. Amar Reb Chanina says, Amen David Ba'at She'ispatish Dag L'choylev Layimtza. Ben David won't come, Mashiach won't come until they'll be looking for a fish to be healing for a sick person, and they won't find. Shinemar, like the pasuk says, I'll make their waters go down, and their rivers like oil I'll bring. And oil, try to go catch a fish through oil. The hook is not even necessarily going to go break through the land of oil. Like when there's an oil spill, all the fish die, the birds die, right? So you're not going to be able to get even a little fish, and then that's what sign from Mashiach comes, because V'kasav, it says elsewhere over there in the Navi, in Yeshaya, in Yecheskel, on that day I'll sprout the pride of Beis Yisrael. That's when Mashiach is going to come. Reb Chaim Bar Chanina says, Ben David won't come until the smallest type of rulership will go away from Klal Yisrael. In other words, they won't even have any sort of shlita whatsoever. Shneimah, like the pasuk says, or is it a Kodesh Red in this one? The Choras HaZalzalim b'Mazmeres. The Zalzalim, that means the ones who are going down, even the small ones, will get cut off with pruning shears. V'chsiv Basrei, and it says afterwards, it's the very next two psukim later, the Esahi at that time, Yuval Shai Hashem Tzvakos, it'll be brought a present to Hashem, Am Mushach Umurat, the downtrodden Klal Yisrael. So you see that when there's not even a little bit of rulership left, that's when Mashiach will come. Amar Ziri, Amar Rab Chanina. Rab Ziri said the name of Rab Chanina. Eimei David ba at Shichlu Gasei Ruach min Yisrael. Ben David won't come until Balei Gaiva are gone from Klal Yisrael. Shneimar, like the pasuk says, Kiaz Aser Mikirbech. Then I'll take away from amongst you Alizei Gavasecha. Those who are celebrate their own. They exult, not exalt. They exult. They're joyous in their own gaiva, in their own pride.
Today we have a big problem.
But people are
sure,
pride.
today a big problem.
Yeah. The Ksiv and the pasuk says, "V'sharti." This is in the next pasuk in Tzvanya. V'sharti b'kirvacha mani v'dal. I'll leave amongst you a poor and impoverished nation. V'chasu b'shem Hashem, and then they will come under the rachmanas of Hashem. That's when the gula will be. Yeah. Amar Rab Simlai Mishum Rab Lazar Rab Shimon. Rab Simlai said the name of Rab Lazar Rab Shimon. Ein ben David Bat Shichlu Kol Shoftim V'Sheitim Yisrael. Ben David Mashiach won't come until all the judges and police of Klal Yisrael will be gone. Shneimar, like the pasuk says, Vashiva Yadi Alayich. I'll turn my hand on you. Ve'etzroif Kabar Sigayach, and I will. Etzroif is to smelt. When you take metal, you purify it. What?
In the way you draw a dough with soap.
Right. Kabar is with soap. Sigayach, your impurities. V'gaimer, and the end of the pasuk is Vasir kol b'dilayach. I'll take away all your b'dilayach. Is also another lashon of separation. Hevdel, Rashi says, and then it says in the next pasuk, Vashiva sheftayach al kvarishon v'yatzech k'vatchila. I'll return. This is where the pasuk in Shemon Esrei, the language in Shemon Esrei comes from. This pasuk in Yeshaya, Vashiva sheftayach kvarishon v'yatzech k'vatchila. Then I'll return your sheftayach, which tells you that until then they didn't have sheftim. So you see that until this purification comes, you need to have that there's no sheftim left, and then Hashem will return the sheftim.
Well, same idea, different example.
Yeah, but I'm sure we're learning this really, really quickly. This is something that if we wanted to, we could spend a lot of time look at the morals and look at the marshas. Yes. Amarula, Ula says, but still, you still get out from this. Amarula Ula says, Ein Yerushalayim niftes. Yerushalayim is not going to be redeemed. Then there's a kasha on this. The Marsha asks, what do you mean Yerushalayim? The pasuk doesn't talk about Yerushalayim. There's a girsa on the side that says that from the Rambam and the Tur, they quote this Gemara and they say, Ein Yisrael niftes. Klal Yisrael won't be redeemed, Ela b'tzedakah, except with tzedakah. Shneimar tzion b'mishpat yipada. Tzion, that's Yerushalayim. With mishpat will be redeemed. V'shaveha, but Klal Yisrael, everyone returning to it, that's Klal Yisrael, b'tzedakah will be redeemed with tzedakah. Amar Rav Papa said, so it's funny Gemara over here. He's going to say, Ibatli Yihiri, Ibatli Amgushi. It's not such a funny Gemara. If the Balei Gaiv from Klal Yisrael become batal, then the Amgushi is the kishuf machers of the Persians who would terrorize the Yidden, they'll be batal. Ibatli Dayani, if the Dayanim of Klal Yisrael, and I assume this means also from the context, the Dayanim who are not doing the right job, right? They're crooked. Batli Gzirfti. Then the Gzirfti is the judges of Umas Ha'olam that punish Klal Yisrael. They give corporal punishment, lashes. They'll be batal. How do we know this? We learned from the pasuk that we brought before. Ibatli Yihiri Batli Amgushi. If the Balei Gaiva will be gone, then the Parsi and Kishuf Makros will be gone. The pasuk says, the Etzref Kabar Sigayach, I will purify like soap, sigayich from lashon of sagi, which is great, there are a lot. Those of you who think they're very much, the Balei Gaiva, v'asiru kol b'dilayich, and I'll take away. And so, if you go and take away those people of Yehiri who are big Balei Gaiva, then v'asiru kol b'dilayich, Hashem says, I will take away those who separate you, those who are making you separate, which is the Amgushi, who are separate from the Yiras Hashem, Rashi says. Batli daini, and if you're going to, the Dayanim will be batal, then Batli Gzirfti, the Goyisha judges who punish Klal Yisrael will be batal. The Ksiv, Heiser Hashem Mishpatecha, Hashem removed your Mishpatecha, it's like your Dayanim, Pana Evecha, and then your enemies went away. That's talking about the Gzirfti. Amar Rabbi Yechanan says, Im Re'isa Dorsha Mismayit V'Hoylech, chakela. If you see a generation that's going downwards, chakela, wait for Mashiach. Remember, like the pasuk says, "Bes'am ani tishya," the nation that's poor, that's impoverished, that's who Hashem helps. So it's a good sign for Mashiach coming if the nation is going down. It says Shemismayit v'hoilech. It goes down, becomes less, and goes. I don't know if that means that they're dying a lot, or that means that they just have a lot of tzaras, but it's a negative. It's a negative trajectory. You know, like when you see a graph, instead of going up, it's going down. That's what this Gemara is talking about.
God himself intends to destroy it.
Yep.
Okay. The caliber is going in.
Yep. Amar Rabbi Yechon said, "Isadar shatzaras rabbis ba'yisalav." So this is very, very specific. That a lot of tzaras are coming on this generation. Kinahar, like a river. Chakele, wait for Mashiach. Shnei like the pasuk says, "Ki yaveh kinar tzar ruach Hashem neisavai." When it's coming like a river, the tzaras, and the ruach Hashem, the spirit of Hashem, is eating into Klal Yisrael. Then v'samachlei, it says the very next pasuk, uvalatzi and goyel, and it'll come to Klal Yisrael, to Yerushalayim, the goyel, the Mashiach will come.
Yeah, the river, the waves are coming, just coming and coming.
They keep on coming. Yeah. We had this Gemara before. It didn't use lashon of waves, but it said that Xeris kashas mischadshais ad sherishayna pekuda shneim amheres lavai. And before the first sarah is over, the second one is already coming. Rabbi Yechanan, where it continues. Rabbi Yechanan says, "Ein bein David ba ela b'darsha kulei zakai or kulei chayev." This is going back. This is we saw this machlekes Rav Shmuel is a little similar to that. Rabbi Yechanan says that the Mashiach won't come except in a door that's completely pure or completely chayev.
How do you have that?
What?
How do you have that?
What do you mean it's impossible?
People are always very good, people are very bad. You always have both types of
Where it says in the time of Chizki everyone was very good. I don't know when the time was that's very bad, but I hope we don't get there. Okay. B'darsha kuli zakai, the dar that's all zakai. The ksiv amich kum tzadikim. Your nation is all tzadikim. Then la'olam yirshar. It's then forever they'll be yerish. They'll acquire the land of Klal of Eretz Yisrael. They'll have the gula. B'darsha kuli chayiv, and a dar that's all chayiv. The ksiv, like the pasuk says, vayar kain ish, vayishtem kain mefkia. He saw that there was no man, and he was wondered because there's no one to daven to Hashem. In that case, then Hashem says, I'll bring Mashiach just for myself. I need the world to become a better place. I'm Rabbi Alexandria. Rabbi Alexandria says, Rabbi Shubin Levi Rabbi. Rabbi Shubin Levi said a stira. Ksiv, the pasuk says, Be'ita, uksiv achishana. It's a pasuk in Yeshaya. The pasuk says, Hakatan Yel Elef, the small one will be like 1,000, Vatzar, the short one, the small one Lagai Atzam to a great nation. Ani Hashemayim Hashem, Be'ita achishana. In its time, I will hurry it. In fact, so Rabbi Shimon Levi says these two words are opposite each other. Ksiv, it says Be'ita. It says in its time that Mashiach is going to come at the right time when the Kate says. Ksiv achishana, it says I will hurry it. That is, it sounds like Mashiach is going to come faster. So which one is it? Is it faster or is it slow? And he answered, Zachu of Klal Yisrael is Zoicha achishana, then the Mashiach will come quick. Lo Zachu, if Klal Yisrael is not Zoicha Be'ita, it'll be in the right time. In other words, by the Kates. I'm Rabbi Alexandria. Rabbi Alexandria said, Rabbi Shubin Levi Ram, Rabbi Shubin Levi said another back and forth with two psukim. Siv, it says, plus it says, it's passing in Daniel, Va'aru in Anani Shmaya, that Mashiach will appear with the skies of heaven, Kvar Inish, Asa, like a person he comes. This is mashma that Mashiach is going to come quick, like a person going in a hurry somewhere, he's going to get there. Uksiv, and the different pasuk says in Zechariah, the Mashiach is going to come is Ani V'Reich Bal Chamar. He's going to be poor, riding on a donkey. Donkeys are not known for their speed. Maybe they're known for their persistence, but they're not known for their speed. Yeah, so it sounds like Mashiach is going to lace his way in, right? It's not, he's not in a rush. So what's pshat? Zachu im Anei Shmaya. If there's Zaycha, it's going to come like this, the clouds blowing in quickly, like a person coming quick. If Klal Yisrael is not Zaycha, Ani Reich Bal Chamar, it'll be like an Ani riding on a donkey. Amlish for Malka Shmuel. Shmuel said to Shmuel. Shmuel was, I think, one of the Persian kings, if I'm not mistaken. Amriz to Mashiach al Chamra Asi. You're saying that Mashiach is going to come on a donkey. So he was trying to make fun of Shmuel and from the Yidden. Ishtalei Susi Barka. Obviously, I'll send. I've got a really good, strong, colorful horse to strong horse to make him come quick. They say he's making fun of him. So Shmuel answered in kind. Amalei said, this is going to be 100 different colors, this horse. And Rashi says he was just like knocking him off with a quick answer no, this is a special donkey. But the real answer is what Gemara said before. Rabbi Shimon Levi said that if Klaus Shal Zeicha, it'll be quick, and if not, it'll be slow. Rabbi Shimon Levi is funny, amazing story over here. Rabbi Shimon Levi Ashkel El Yahu. Rabbi Shimon Levi. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. There's a piece of Gemara over here on the side that the censor took out. I think it says like this. Mashal sticks in it. Rabbi Shimon Levi. I'll read it. I don't know if either of you have it. Rabbi Shimon Levi Ashkel El Yahu Davakoya Piska Gan Eden. Rabbi Shimon Levi met El Yoanavi. He was standing by the entrance to Gan Eden, just a casual walk in the park, and he ended up in Gan Eden meeting El Yoanavi. Amar Lei, he said to El Yahu, Eimasasim Mashiach. When's Mashiach coming? Amar Lei, he told him, when this one, our master wants. Right? In other words, he was saying when the Shechina, when the Rebbeinu Shalom wants, that the Rebbeinu Shalom's presence was here when Rabbi Shimon Levi and Eliyahu were talking. Rabbi Shimon Levi said, Shnayim Reisi, I saw two people, me and Eliyahu Navi, Uvikol Shleisha Shemati, but I heard the voice of three. I heard three people, three voices, because he was able to sense that the Shechina was there, even though he wasn't able to see anything, but the Shechina was there when he and Eliyahu Navi were talking. Okay, that's the Gemara that Mashal sticks in. And Rashi actually says pieces on this Gemara, so you see that Rashi had that here in front of us. Okay, now we continue. Another story from Shimon Levi and Eliyahu Navi. But the funny thing about this story is he's also going to ask him about Mashiach. So you see, Eliyahu Navi asked Shimon Levi asked Eliyahu Navi multiple times, when's Mashiach coming? So you see, he wasn't happy with one answer, and he kept wanting to have Mashiach come, right? Rabbi Shimon Levi Ashkel El Yahu Davakoya Pischadam Arta Rabbi Shimon Ben Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Levi met Eliyahu Hanavi, who was standing on the entrance of the kever of Rabbi Shimon Ben Yochai. Amar Lei. So Rabbi Shimon Levi said to Eliyahu Navi, Asina l'almadasi, am I coming to Al-Mabah? Do I have a chilek in Al-Mabah? Amar Lei, he said, if our master wants. Rabbi Shimon Levi said the same thing. Shnayim Risi, I saw two people, me and Eliyahu Navi, we called Gimel Shamati, and I heard the voice of three, that Rabbi Shem was there also. So Amar Lei, so Rabbi Shimon Levi said to Eliyahu Navi, same question we saw before, when's Mashiach coming? Amar Lei, he said, Zil Shaila in the day. Go ask Mashiach. Why are you asking me? Go ask Mashiach. So Rabbi Shimon Levi said back, Be'echa Yasif, where is he sitting? So he answered, Apiska de Karta, on the entrance, by the gate of the city. The censor took it out, but it originally said, in the Goyen puts it in, Apiska de Romi, at the entrance at the gate of Rome. So Rabbi Shimon Levi said, how am I going to know who he is? What's the sign that I'll see that he's the one that I'm looking for? There's probably a lot of people sitting by the entrance of the gate of Rome. But I just want to say, Rashi says that over here when it says the gate of Rome, it doesn't literally mean the gate of Rome. It means that in Gan Eden there's parallels connected to this whole world. So the entrance of Rome in Gan Eden, the parallel to Rome in Gan Eden, that's where Mashiach was sitting. So that's where Rabbi Shimon Levi was able to ascend and go see over there Mashiach. So he said, my simane, what's the simon that I'll know is Mashiach? So Eliyahu Navi answered, Yosef ben Yaniyeh, he's sitting amongst Aniyim, Sev Lechalam, that have illnesses, they have wounds. All of them, when a person has a wound, it has to get cleaned, and you have to change the bandages and stuff like that. So they all take all their bandages off at once, and then clean their wounds, irrigated, fresh bandages. This person has a wound. I have a friend who had a surgery in his neck, and the doctor, he had some sort of growth or something. The doctor had to gouge an inch by an inch hole out of his neck, right? And no major issues. But he had this big gauze on, and every day you have to keep it full with pus or something, and every day you have to change it. That's what a person has to do when they have a wound, right? So He lives in Tom's River now. He moved to Tom's River.
That was a punishment?
No. I don't know what the significance of the fact that they were fighting here. And that the Mashiach had chalaim, the Mashiach had wounds. Rashi says, he brings down from Pasuk and Yeshaya, which the Gemara is going to bring down in Amud Beis. Mashiach is wounded from our Averis. So Mashiach is bearing our Averis somehow, or because of our Averis, he can't come. But the other sick people by the entrance of Rome and Gan Eden, I don't know the significance of that. So he said that Mashiach is sitting amongst all these beggars, these poor people, and they all, when they need to change their bandages, they take off all the old bandages, clean their wounds, and put the bandages back on, or put new bandages on, all at once. Take off this bandage, and this bandage, and this bandage, clean this, and this, and this, put the bandages back on. He does one at a time. Amar, because he says, Dilma Mavina, maybe I'll be needed. Maybe the Rosh is going to say it's time for Mashiach to come. I won't have to wait. If I have to go and put all my bandages back on, it'll take longer to go back, to redeem Kali Yisrael. Okay, that's it.
It's like it says in Henan, the people every day they go to the burn, and they collect wood to burn. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying it's a similar thing. Could be. So that was a simon that Eliyahu Navi said to Rabbi Shua ben Levi to find Mashiach. So Azal Gaber, Rabbi Shua ben Levi went to Mashiach. Amar Lei, he said, Shalom Alecha Rabbi Mari, peace on to you, my master and teacher. Amar Lei, so he said to him, Shalom Alecha Bar Levi, Shalom to you, son of Levi. Right? His name was Rabbi Shua ben Levi, right? So he said, Shalom to you, son of Levi. Amar Lei, so he said, Le'emus Asimar, when are you coming? When is Mashiach coming? Amar Lei, he said, Hayoyim, today. Rabbi Shua ben Levi came back. Asal Lagabe Eliyahu, we went to Eliyahu Navi. Amar Lei, my Amalach. So Eliyahu Navi said, what did Mashiach tell you? Amar Lei, he said, Shalom Lech Bar Levi. He said to me, peace unto you, son of Levi. Amar Lei, he told him, I can guarantee for you and your father, that you get a chelik kanel maba, which is two pieces, by the way, because before he asked him, am I going to get a chelik kanel maba, right? So now he said, Mashiach said to you, Shalom Alech Bar Levi, where he said, should be peace to you, and he mentioned your father also. So if not the fact that you were tzaddikim, he wouldn't have given you shalom, and he wouldn't have mentioned your father's name. So it must be you and your father are tzaddikim. My father always taught me that when you go to a gadol, you always say shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem Rabbi. Why? Not because you would say shalom, but you do. You also, he should say shalom aleichem back to you, right? So you get a bracha from a gadol. Okay? Maybe it depends on the gadol. I don't know. Okay. So Amar Lei, Rabbi Shua ben Levi said to Eliyahu Navi, Shukuri Kashakarvi, Mashiach lied to me. Why? You heard this? He's saying Mashiach lied to me. The Amar Li Hayayim Asina, he came, he said to me, today I'm coming. And he didn't come. Amar Lei, so Eliyahu Navi explained to Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Hachi Amar Lach, this is what he's telling you. From Pasuk, Hayayim Imkei Lishmo, today he's going to come if you listen to the voice of Hashem. If Klal Yisrael listens to the voice of Hashem, the Mashiach is going to come that day. That's the Gemara said, Be'ita Achishena. Rabbi Shua ben Levi himself said, Zachu, it's going to be Be'ita. I'm sorry, Lo Zachu, it's Be'ita. But Zachu, if there's Zecha Achishena, Hashem's going to make the Gula come earlier. Shalu Talmidav Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma. Rabbi Talmidav asked Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma. Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma was the Tana, if I'm not mistaken, in Pirkei Avos. He said that if you give me, in the sixth parak, if you give to me all the Avanim Tevis and Mergalias in the world, I'm not going to leave a Makom Torah, right?
You're still not going.
What?
It's not going to be a rubber in that town.
Right, I'm not going there. So the Talmidim asked Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma.
He said Pshat over there because they asked the Rebbe, "Why don't you put?" How do you call me Rebbe? You don't even know me yet.
Yeah, that's a good Pshat. I heard a different Pshat. I heard B'Shem Rav Shagafei Alman Levitz. He said, "Hey Tachin, the person said to Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, I'm giving you all the money in the world. Great, take the money, build a yeshiva. What's the big deal?" So he said, you see from here that just because you have money doesn't mean your yeshiva is going to be matzliach. Now you need Sat Lishmaya, and if he has a yeshiva, you don't leave that yeshiva to open another yeshiva.
Yeshiva Shafar.
I heard this from Rav Shagafei's grandson, if I remember correctly. Okay, he was also named Rav Shagafei. So the Talmidim asked Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, Amos ben David Bar, when's Mashiach coming? Amar, he said, I don't want to answer you guys. Why? I'm afraid Shemitavakshin many years. They're going to ask me to do a maifis to show a sign that what I'm saying is true. Amar, they told him, no, we're not going to ask you a sign. Amar Lahu, so he told them, he was in Rome. Rashi says he was in Rome then. So when this gate of Rome falls, V'yibana gets built, V'yipol and it'll fall again, V'yibana it'll get built, V'yipol and it'll fall again the third time, and then that third time, they must speak and live nicely, they won't be able to rebuild it until Ben David comes. Amar, Amru Lai, I told him, Rabbeinu, our Rebbe, give us a sign that what you're saying is true. He told him, look, didn't you tell me Sheinatim Vakshin many ice? Then you're not going to ask me to give a sign? Amrullah, they told him, Bavel Pekin, still. Amrullah, he told them, in Kach, if what I'm saying is true, let the waters of Pamayis, the Yarden comes from Pamayis. So the waters of this river Pamayis, let it switch to blood. And Ataka turned to blood. B'shas P'tirasi, when Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma was nifter, so we're saying this because we're talking about Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, and it's going to talk about Mashiach, or Goi Gomagoi. When he died, Amalai, he told us Talmidim, Hemikuli Aroini, bury my kever very deep, right? She'ein kol dekel v'dekel she'bavavel, there won't be a single dekel, a single date tree in Bavel, she'ein sushal parsiyim nikshar, that the Persians' horses won't be tied to. In other words, the Persians are going to overrun Bavel in the war.
All the horses are going to poop.
But he was saying more than that. He was saying that they're going to go take over Bavel, and then they're going to keep on going in that direction and go to Eretz Yisrael and fight in Eretz Yisrael.
Why go so deep?
And then when they're in Eretz Yisrael, there won't be any Aron in Eretz Yisrael. That someone's buried in Shin Sus Madei Eichel Beit Heaven. The ground is going to be pushed up, and the horses will eat. They'll use the Aron as a trough, a feeding trough.
6 feet under.
So he said, make it very deep so that this shouldn't happen to me. But he was also saying that this is what's going to happen when by the Muhammad of Goi Gomagoi. Amarav Rav says, Eimin David Vach et Spashat Machzor Shal Yisrael Tisha Chadashim. The Ben David Mashiach won't come until the evil kingdom will be spread over, ruling over Klal Yisrael for 9 months. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, Lachein. Therefore, they'll be given until the time of a person, a mother gives birth, which is 9 months. And then the rest of his brothers will return on to Bnei Yisrael. So you see that Asya Leda Yolda is in 9 months. Rashi says, brings in the Targum in that pasuk in Micha, even the Yalda Salamela, like the time of a woman giving birth that she takes to give birth. Amar Ula, now this is the Gemara you were talking about, Rosh Shmuel. Amar Ula said, Yesei, let Mashiach come, the time of Mashiach come, v'layich minei, and I don't want to see it. V'chein Amar Rabba, and Rabba said the same thing, Yesei v'layich minei. Let the time of Mashiach come, but I don't want to be around to see it. Rabbi Yosef Amar, Yesei ve'ezakid, Yesei betula to kafisa the chamrei. Rabbi Yosef said the opposite. Let it come, and I should be zeicha, I should sit in the shade of the excrement of Mashiach's donkey. In other words, even if I have mamash just the shmek of Mashiach coming, I want to be there. I want to see it. Shmek, right? He's saying even if it's the most negative possible way, I still want to be there. He used that expression on purpose, right? Amarle Abai the Rabbi. Abai said to Rabbi, my time. Why is it that you said let Mashiach come, but I don't want to be there? If it's because the chaval of Mashiach, chaval is the what do you say? We usually translate the first names, right? That's usually translated. But Rashi says chaval is a portion. Chaval mashli ban imim. It's a portion. Yeah, the lot of Mashiach. And the other pshat is taka that it's trembling. So, but the first pshat is that means the portion of Mashiach, the thing that will happen when Mashiach comes. So he said, if you're going to tell me that you're afraid because of the Chavlei Shal Mashiach, but Tanya, we learned in the Brayso, Shal Tamida was Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar's telling me the master. What should a person do and be saved from the Chavlei Shal Mashiach? And he answered them, Umar, and you, Rabba, you do Torah, you do Gmilas Chasadim, so what are you worried about? Right, why do you say Yesiv Le'echmini? Let it come and I don't want to see it. Amalei, so he said to him, Shem Yigram Achet. No, I'm always worried that maybe I'll have an Aveira, and if I have an Aveira, the Torah and the Gmilas Chasadim that I've done won't be enough to save me from tzaras. Because Rabbi Yaakov, like Rabbi Yaakov, this Gemara we had a long time ago, the third daf of Daf Yomi, Brachas Daled and Aleph. Rabbi Yaakov Aridi Rami. Rabbi Yaakov Aridi said a stira, two psukim. The pasuk says, Hashem says, Hini anochi imach hashmaticha mechalash telach. Hashem said to Yaakov Avinu, I'm with you and I'll watch you everywhere that I'm going. And it says, Vayuri Yaakov ma'id vayetzerlai. Yaakov was very afraid and it bothered him. Hayitachin, how could Yaakov be afraid if Hashem said, I'm with you and I'll watch you? The Gemara says, he was afraid that maybe a chait, he'll do avera, and then he'll take away his chusim, and then Hashem won't watch him anymore, and he'll get punished, he'll get hurt by Esav. And Kidditani, we have like another brayso like this also. Ad Yavra Amcha Hashem, Ad Yavra Amzuchnisa. We have the pasuk in Yashar. What is this talking about? Ad Yavra, Ad Yavra. What's the two Ad Yavras? Ad Yavra Amcha Hashem, Zubi Rishayna. Until your nation Hashem comes back to Eretz Yisrael in the time of Yeshua, when they come to Eretz Yisrael the first time. Ad Yavram Zuknisa, until this nation comes that you own. Zubi Yishni, that's the second time when they came back after Galus of after Mordechai and Esther and Purim, when they came back with Koresh HaMelech. Right? So that's B'Yishniya. And the pasuk says them both in one pasuk. And Marmiyati, you see from here, they should have had as much nisim when they came the second time to Eretz Yisrael as they had the first time. It's not even talking, I don't think, about Matan Torah and Kriyas Yamsuf, but even when they came to Eretz Yisrael, the Rebbeinu Shalom split the Yarden for them, right? And there were other nisim that they had the fire come from the sky, they had a bunch of nisim happen. So we were right, they should have had the same nisim coming back to Eretz Yisrael the second time, Ela Shagar Machet, but they had Averis. Okay, back to Mashiach. Rabbi Yochanan said also the same thing. Let Mashiach come, but I don't want to see it. By the way,
I want to see my may not see. I may not see it.
I think he's saying I don't want to see it. That's why I understood it. Okay.
Like that. Yeshiva is kids, we learned it like that.
Okay.
The article was
I just want to say in Yana Diyayma, the Slashon Echmine is we have in Kal Chamira. Chamira Chamite Krishus the Chazite Blachsite the Chamite Ula Chamite. Chamite is the same shirish as Echmine. I'm going to Rish Lakish says, my timer, he said to Rabbi Yochanan, why is it that you don't want to see Mashiach come? Even because the pasuk will say like this: the times of Mashiach, the pasuk says, Kasher Yonas Ish Mipnei Ari, somebody will run away from an Ari, and he's running from the lion, Upaga Yadayv, and he bumps into a bear. Now he's running away from the bear. Ubaha Bais, he runs to his house. Usamach Yodei Lakir, and he puts his hand to the wall. And a snake will bite him. So he said they'll be surrounded with tzaras. He said, right now in this world we have the same kind of thing. The guy goes into the field, and he meets the surveyor, and the surveyor wants to say, hey, you think you have the field till here, but really you have an extra half an acre, right? And I got to take away part of your field because it really belongs to your neighbor. It's like he met a lion. Nichnas the year comes back to the city. The tax collector meets him and says, "Hey, buddy, where's your 10% for the king?"
He's having a bad day.
It's like a beer met him. Nichnas Lebesa, he goes to his house and and he sees his kids and sons and daughters are hungry. It's like a snake bit him. So he says, we're surrounded by tzaris anyway. Ella Mishum Diksiv. From the following pasuk, Shalu Noru, ask and see in Yalad Zachar if you have if a man who gives birth, Madur Isi Kal Gever Yadav Al Chatzav. Why did I see every man with his hands on his thighs, Kirleda, like a woman giving birth? V'neflu Kapanim Leirakin, and all faces turned green. It's a very mysterious pasuk. The Gemara will explain. My Re'isi Kol Gever. What does it mean? I saw Kol Gever. Amarav Bar Yitzchak. Amarav Rabbi Yitzchak said the name of Rav. Misha Kol Gevura Shalai. Talking about Hashem, who has all Gevura. When it says Gever, it's talking about a mashal for Hashem. Umay V'nefel Kol Yipanim Leirak. And what does it mean that all the faces will turn to green? Rabbi Yechanan Pamali Shamala Pamali Shamata. It's talking about the Pamali Shamala, the Besmi Shalmala, and Klal Yisrael. I'm sorry, the Malachim and Klal Yisrael. What does that mean? B'shar Shamar Kadosh Baruch Hu, when Hashem says at the time that Mashiach is supposed to come, Hashem's going to have a problem. Halalu Masiyadi v'Halalu Masiyadi. The Yidden are the work of my hands, and the Goyim are the work of my hands. V'Hecha Abed Elum Ke'elu. How could I destroy the Goyim because of the Yidden?
You're the wrong mind.
Amra Papa, that's what people say. Rat v'nafaltura, when the axe is running. Same idea, yeah. So Amra Papa says, that's what people say. Rat v'nafaltura v'azel, it's an expression. If the axe, thank you, runs and falls, and the farmer goes and puts a horse in the trough where the axe eats. And now the axe gets better, and now he wants to take the axe and have him go back to his old place, but the horse doesn't want to leave. So it's the same thing. Just now the Goyim are in charge, it's not so easy to get them to leave. So that's what it means that the Pamali Shamal and Pamali Shamata, it'll be like the Chevli Yeleda, it'll be a difficult time that for Klal Yisrael. And that's what Rabbi Yechanan was saying, Yesiv Lo Yechmini, I don't want to be there. Right? Amrav Gidl Amrav. Rav Gidl said the name of Rav. Asidin Yisrael ta'achli shnei Mashiach. It'll be that in the future. It'll be that Klal Yisrael will have the soiva, the plenty that comes in time of Mashiach. Remember, we had the Gemara that said that in the Shemitah before Mashiach comes, there'll be a year or two of a lot of plenty. Rav Yosef Shita, Velaman Achalu, Chiluk Ubilik. Who's going to eat it? Chiluk Ubilik is like saying Pliny Almighty or John Doe. Like who's going to Tom, Dick, and Harry?
It's an undesirable nature.
What was that?
Figures of undesirable nature.
Rashi says that pshat, but the Pashut pshat is that it means that's like Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? That Rashi says that also.
Names of two judges from Stone, he said also.
Yeah. So the Emra answers no. Lafukim Rav Hillel, to say not like Rav Hillel. The Amar, he says, "Ein Mashiach Yisrael." Rav Hillel said, "Mashiach's not coming from Klal Yisrael." You ever heard this? No Mashiach. Why? Shekvar el achlu b'mei Chizkiah. Chizkiah was supposed to be Mashiach, and they had all the good times by Chizkiah already. That's what the Nebuahs were set for, and we're done with. And that's where Rav Gidl said in the name of Rav. No, don't think that that's the case. We don't say like Rav Hillel, and Mashiach is still going to come. Okay, let's see if we can go a little bit further. Rav says, "La ivri alma el David." The nation, the world was created for David. In other words, the schus of David is who's going to say many shirs tishbachas to Hashem. That's what the world was created for. The Shmuel Amar LaMoshe. It was said for Moshe because Moshe was being Kabbalah Torah. Rabbi Yechanan Amar LaMashiach. Rabbi Yechanan says for Mashiach. Zak the Gemara Mashmai. What's the name of Mashiach? So the Gemara is going to say a few different shatim over here, and each one is tied to the name of the person or people who are saying the pshat. The Bei Rab Shila Amri, by the yeshiva Rab Shila, they said Shilai Shmai. His name is Shilai. Shnemer the pasuk says Ad Piyav Shilai, until Shilai comes, until Mashiach comes. So you see his name is Shilai. The Bei Rab Yanai Amri. The Shiva Rab Yanai, they said Yunayin Shmai, like Yanai. And how do you know? His name will be forever before the sun. In other words, before the sun was created, Yunayin Shemai, his name was Yunayin. And that's one that Rashi says that one of the 7 things that were created, that came up in the Rebbeinu Shalom Machshavah created is Mashiach. So you see, Mashiach, Lefnei Shemesh, before the sun was created, that's Mashiach. The Bei Rab Chanina Amar. By the yeshiva of Rab Chanina, they said Chanina Shema. His name is Chanina. Shnemar Shlei Eten Lachem Chanina. I won't give for you this Chanina. Mashiach will not come yet. Menachem and Chizkiah Shemai. And some say his name is Menachem and Chizkiah Shnemar. Ki Rachak Mimeni Menachem Meshav Nafshi. It was pushed away from me with the Menachem who will return my soul. Mashiach will bring us back, Klal Yisrael, back to where it is. Okay, let's see how fast he goes to Mirachim. Rabbanan say Chivra de Rabbi Shmai. Actually, no. Let me stop here because I have to tell you that tomorrow it's a possibility I'm coming late.